Letitia James, who says she's not backing down no matter what. Letitia James, who says the numbers don't lie. She has a case against the former president and president-elect.
At the end of the day, the documentary evidence demonstrated that, in fact, he falsely inflated his assets to basically enrich himself and his family. He continued to persistently engage in fraud. The numbers don't lie.
I will not fear Donald Trump. I have steel in my backbone. And the reality is I will not allow this person, Donald Trump, who unfortunately is a broken man, to get in the way of progress and to separate us.
Yeah. Well, reality may get in the way for Letitia James. You see, the Court of Appeals is at any moment now about to reject or throw out this case. Donald Trump had appealed the case. He recently went to her just a few days ago and said, hey, here's an opportunity to do the right thing for the country. In the name of unison, in the spirit of unison, why don't you drop these charges? To which she said, nope, no way, right? Because she's got steel in her backbones and she does not fear Donald Trump. Of course, it might be a problem given that the Supreme Court has already kind of come out and said, look, you can't go after a sitting president. So he is to be inaugurated on January 20th. She then wants to continue moving forward for nearly $500 million. I don't think it plays. You've heard me say this before. This is not a case. You know why it's not a case? Because this is a private matter between a bank, in this case Deutsche Bank, and an individual, their client, one Donald Trump. Everybody made money. You don't have a victim in this case, which is why the court kept saying over and over again, well, we're a little confused, just exactly where is your victim? In other words, who's hurt? No one was hurt in this. In fact, everybody made money, and they came out and said they would do it again. I mean, look, they had no use from her from the get-go. The moment Judith Vale stood up in front of the judges to argue this case on behalf of one Letitia James, they were ready to shoot her down.
May it please the court, Judith Vale for the New York Attorney General's office. All of the defendants repeatedly violated—
Ms. Vale, can you identify any previous case in which the Attorney General sued under Executive Law 6312 to upset a private business transaction that was between equally sophisticated partners, where the supposed victim had the ability and legal obligation to discover the allegedly misrepresented matters by conducting its own due diligence, where the supposed wrongdoer advised the supposed victim through written disclaimers to conduct its own due diligence and to draw its own conclusions, where the alleged misrepresentation almost entirely concerned inherently subjective valuations of properties and businesses.
Yes.
And where the victim never complained about any fraud in the transactional losses from it. Because I've gone through the cases which you've cited, and all of them always involved the consumer protection aspect. It involved protection of the market.
Several responses.
And I want to add to his question, and little to no impact on the public marketplace.
Yeah. So that's kind of, doomsday from day one. That was her first moment in front of the court. So again, we're waiting on news that they are going to toss this thing. So then the next question becomes, what happens to Letitia? And should she be prosecuted for having gone after him in such a rabid way to begin with? Because let's face it, this became about so much more than whether or not there was any wrongdoing there. This was all about getting Trump. This is what she was building her political career off of. So, a lot of people were doing that, shall we say. That was, I don't know what they're going to do if they don't have Donald Trump. They don't have a political career. They can't fundraise. They can't send out all those emails and make all that money. Anyway.